For Crema Media's Polity, I'm Sane Dhlamini. Researcher and analyst Professor Raymond Suttner joins me for Suttner's View, a weekly commentary on South Africa's political scene. Welcome, Professor.
Thank you.
We can't talk about KZN without mentioning what we saw last week at the conference. Some people are saying that what we saw at the conference was a result of some people still regarding Jacob Zuma as their leader. What can you say about that?
Well, they did specifically say that outside the court, and people like Supra Mahuma Phelo referred to him as our president, and when they talk about the Nkosazana Dhlamini Zuma supporters being purged, that is a code word for supporting Zuma. But we should remember that a lot of the people who are supporting Zuma in KZN are in the ANC and outside the ANC. The people at the court, a lot of them from the church groups, are not mainstream church. The mainstream churches issued a statement, that is the Methodists, the Anglicans, the Catholics, all of these, saying that they were not part of this, and they are mainly these charismatic churches, and they're not involved in the ANC, a lot of those people. That's not to say there were not a lot of ANC supporters. A lot of them are people who were dismissed from cabinet when Cyril Ramaphosa became president, like Faith Mutambi, Van Rooyen, and so forth. And a lot of those others were the disruptions at the conference were purely ANC people, and it is claimed that Zuma had a lot to do with this. There had been some agreement between the supporters of Zigalala and the other group who had brought the action for the previous Provincial Executive Committee to be declared illegal. There had been an agreement between them on a slate to be elected which comprised both groupings. And that was ditched. According to the media, Zuma had something to do with this. So what I think is happening is that there is instability in KZN, in that whether there's and they also have a resolution or some decision, I don't know where the decision was taken, that action will be taken against people who go to court. So all of these and there's songs about we've had enough of the courts and what has Zuma done. So Zuma is very much in the middle of it, but the problem nationally is that you can't run the ANC in a stable way, or even the country, when the biggest province has not been able to elect its leadership. And Zuma seems to have something to do with this, but it can't be put down to Zuma alone. The main point to me is the killings. There's a lot of intimidation. A lot of the people who were involved in the court case have made statements to the effect that they are afraid of their lives. Some of them have brought private security guards, all of these things.
But then also, Supra Mahuma Phelo also said that why we can't be not supporting Zuma when at Nasrec we supported NDZ. Why is Nasrec so important, even if we have Cyril Ramaphosa as the president?
Well, if you don't accept Cyril Ramaphosa as the president, for example, if you're someone who has been removed after Cyril Ramaphosa's presidency, well, then you still hold on to, you want to keep those divisions. You see, Ramaphosa wants to try to heal the divisions. I mean, I don't think he's got much chance of doing that. However, it depends. He wants to contain them, whereas people like Mahuma Phelo and others want to use them as a way of hampering the presidency of Ramaphosa, and that also means hampering his ability to bring charges against Zuma, so that you have seen the NPA has lost 3 cases against the Guptas, so that the state itself is being affected by this instability in the sense that it's not been possible to clean up completely in this short time. You have things happening in the state-owned enterprises, very strong steps taken, but uneven. However, a lot of people who should be charged have not yet been charged or removed, and you've got people in the cabinet who are compromised, so that Mahuma Pello, when he refers to that, is feeding into the instability of the base that Cyril Ramaphosa has got. When JZ was elected, there was not, the people who were against him left to form COPE, and most of the others at that point supported him. Ramaphosa has not got that, and Mahuma Pello is trying to keep that alive, that division.
I was just thinking that if Jacob Zuma still loves the ANC, he should be saying something, hopefully maybe that his supporters will be like, calm down and then move on and maybe try to make, to support Cyril Ramaphosa. But he has been quiet, he's not saying much to make sure that there is calm in the province. What does that say?
Who says he loves the ANC?
He's always been saying that, so
yeah,
I was thinking,
but I mean, you can say, I'm honest and be a crook. What we know Zuma loves is money. And he loves money more than the country, more than the ANC. Doesn't care if the country sinks. That's why when the rand fell, he was indifferent. So I don't think he cares. He really wants to keep himself out of jail. And one of the dangers that he faces is the presidency of Ramaphosa. So I don't think this thing of loving the ANC, I really don't take it seriously. And I think he loves his own wealth. And
do you think the NEC can do anything to make sure that there's stability in the province?
You know, the thing is, the NEC is divided, but I think it's very hard when you see that Matashe went down there and he was shouted down. People like Beki Cele is also not popular amongst. See, it's divided KZN, but I don't know what the NEC can do. I just think the ANC has got real problems. Some of the people who are writing about that, don't worry, Cyril Ramaphosa is in command. He is in command, but he's got such a high level of undermining figures within the ANC. It's actually very, very difficult for him to do what he needs to do.
And KZN convener Sihlezi Galala on a number of platforms, I've noticed that he also refers to Jacob Zuma as President Jacob Zuma, because at first I thought maybe it was a mistake. Do you think he's also doing this on purpose to disregard Ramaphosa?
Well, I think he's trying. I didn't see that, but I did see that he apologized for the shouting down of Matashe, because he has to jive, you know, because he doesn't know which way things are going to go. He wants to keep his position, and he knows at the moment Ramaphosa is president, so he can't. If he is conspiring, he mainly is conspiring in the darkness, not in front of the TV cameras. So if he called, you know, I don't know what you call a former president. You know, if I meet Thabo Mbeki, do I call him Mr. President? I'm not sure, you see, because it may be that you do call the former president still Mr. President. I'm not sure. So,
yeah, and lastly, Raymond, what can we expect from the ANC moving forward in order maybe to make sure that there is stability in KZN?
I don't know if the ANC will move forward. I think that the question really is whether the power of government, in other words, there's government and there's ANC, whether the power that the presidency has as government can override and render insignificant the divisions within the ANC. Now, government is if you're an ANC leader, you're supposed to be responsible to the ANC, but there's a lot that you can do as president of the country. So he is doing his best to use that power, but he's not using it fully, because he's keeping in the cabinet people like Batabile, Dhlamini, who are still contemptuous, didn't appear in Parliament yesterday, a number of others. So I don't know. I don't have the answers, but I think that we must remember that the power of the presidency and of government is not immediately accountable to the ANC, and it can set in motion things by appointments in the police, appointments in the prosecuting authority and so forth, which can help to bring about stability.
Thank you, Raymond.
Thank you.
That was Professor Raymond Suttner speaking to Crema Media's Polity about the ANC KZN upheaval. How secure is Cyril Ramaphosa?